welcome to Breakout Session number 33. I got the blues. This is how to play the blues over a 12-bar blues progression. We're going to kind of break it into two parts. One, we're going to work on the notes and the scales first, and then we'll go into the chords and how to spice up a 12-bar blues. So welcome to my house of the blues. As usual, I want to say hello and to all the Guitar League members around the country that might be watching today. In your email, you will receive the materials on an attachment, so you can just open that attachment and download them. For everybody else, I'm going to put the materials down in the description, so you'll have these little charts and stuff. Okay, so also, I would ask that you subscribe to my channel. I've kind of made a big goal for myself to increase my subscribers, so I really need your support with this. So go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell, and we'll notify you when we have something coming up. And you know what? If you don't want to be bothered, don't hit the little bell, and we won't bother you. You can just check in periodically and see what's up there. And if you like them, hit the like button, and any positive suggestions or comments you have, I'd sure appreciate them. Okay, so you can eat an elephant a bite at a time. This chart here is a little overwhelming. Okay, that's like the A scale, kind of sort of all over the fretboard up to maybe about the 17th fret. Okay, so we're going to break this down into little bite-sized pieces. A little at a time, explaining how this all works. There's hundreds of videos out there on this subject, but I'm going to try to cut through a lot of the baloney to get you right down to the basic stuff. So the first thing we're going to learn today, we're going to learn a major scale, we're going to learn a major pentatonic, a minor pentatonic, a blues scale, and a Mixolydian scale. And we're going to do it in the key of A today, because it's just easier for you folks to see it. I also picked a guitar today so you can see the fret markers on it pretty close and understand where we are. So the first thing we're going to do is the basic stuff. We're going to learn the simple A major scale in one position, because everything evolves from the major scale. All the other scales come from that. So you got to kind of know that first. So we're going to learn it in one position and one kind of fingering. We're going to assign fingers to frets today. Okay? So we're going to assign right now, we're going to move it around, but right now it's going to be your index finger on the 4th fret, your middle finger on the 5th fret, your ring finger on the 6th fret, and your pinky on the 7th fret. Okay? So, we are going to start with, we're going to go with our middle finger on the 5th fret, 6th string, our pinky on the 7th fret, our pointer on the 4th fret of the 5th string, our middle finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string, our pinky on the 7th fret of the 5th string, our pointer on the 4th fret of the 4th string, our ring finger comes in here on the 6th fret of the D string, of the 4th string, and then our pinky takes us back, all the way back to A. That's an octave from there to there. Okay, that's an octave. Okay, so, and back in breakout session number 1, we talked about the intervals between notes, where you've got a full step, a full step, a half step, a full step, a full step, a full step, and a half step. That doesn't change in a major key. That's why your fingering is going where it's going. Okay, and so that's a 7-note scale, and then the 8th note is an octave higher. So that's a major scale. All of the other scales, the pentatonic scales, the blues scales, all the modes, they all come derived from the major scale, changing different notes. Okay, so that was a 7 scale, a 7-note scale, major scale. Okay, backing up to the major scale that we just learned, we put numbers to that as well. So you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, Nashville numbers. Okay, so that's going to come in handy. All right. So now we're going to go from the major scale to the major pentatonic scale and the minor pentatonic scale. We're gonna use the 5th fret as our home base here. And we're either going to be using our index finger and going down towards the bridge, or we're going to use our pinky finger and go up towards the head. So let's start. We're going to use our pinky finger on the A note, and we're going to go up towards the head. Okay, so this is a 5-note scale. So it's the 5th fret, 6th string. So then you got the 2nd fret, the 4th fret, the 2nd fret, the 4th fret, the 2nd fret, the 4th fret, the 2nd fret, the 5th fret, the 2nd fret, the 5th fret. That shape. That is an A major pentatonic. Pentatonic meaning 5 notes. We've been over this before too. So there's only 5 notes. We've taken this scale from 7 notes down to 5. Okay? And the 5 that we've taken it to are the 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of the major scale. Okay? The 1st note, the 2nd note, the 3rd note, the 5th note, and the 6th note in the major scale is the major pentatonic scale. Okay, 5 notes. This can be played in a lot of different places. We're going to get to that. But we started with our pinky. We went towards the neck, towards the head. And when I do this, I think of the A-shaped A chord, the A major chord, right there. I think of it that way when I do an A major pentatonic scale. Now, if we came back to the 5th fret, our home base, and we used our index finger to start with, and we did the exact same shape, that's a minor pentatonic scale, A minor pentatonic. And when I do that scale, I think of the E-shaped chord, the E minor shaped chord. So this would be an A minor. So I think of that when I'm doing this scale. So here we're starting with our 1st finger here instead of our pinky. We've come up here and assigned 1st finger to this fret and our pinky to this fret. So it's 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. That is an A minor pentatonic. And how we get to there is it's instead of the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, which was the major pentatonic, now it's the 1 flat 3rd, 4, 5, and flat 7. Okay, those are the notes that make up a minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so I think, you know, all of these have to do, they go back to the cage system. So it depends, different people think of different shapes and things that help them get through a scale or a chord or something. So like I said, in my case, when I'm thinking about the major scale going towards the head, I'm thinking of the A-shaped A chord. When I'm going here in the minor pentatonic, I'm thinking of the E-shaped A minor. Okay? Now, later on we could, if you did a regular A here, there would be an A major, second part of the A major pentatonic would be right there with the natural third instead of the flat third. But we'll get back to that. But that's just a way to help figure out where you are. Okay, so now we're going to go to the blues scale, which is basically the minor pentatonic scale with a flat fifth. So now the blues scale is going to be, the the 1, the flat 3, the 4, the flat 5, the 5, and the flat 7. Okay? So it would be a minor pentatonic, 1, the flat third, the 4th, the flat 5, the 5, the flat 7, back to the octave. The flat 5. It's also known as the blue note. So the blue scale is the same as the minor scale, except you add a flat 5, which now gives you 3 flats in that scale instead of the 2 flats in a minor pentatonic scale. Okay, and so now the Mixolydian scale, okay, is again, you go back to the major scale, and a Mixolydian scale is the major scale with a flat 7, okay? So that would be using this shape that we started with the major scale. Instead of a 7, you'd have a flat 7. And the reason that works so good is because we call it Mixolydian scale, but it's also the dominant 7 scale, because the note that you're playing there, that flat 7, is in a 7 chord, a dominant 7 chord in any key. So when you play that flat 7, when you play a Mixolydian, you can play that over the dominant 7 chord. Okay? So those scales are pretty much the scales that you use in blues. People put diminished scales in them. You got Robin Ford and throwing in all kinds of crazy stuff. But we're talking about the basic 12-bar blues to get you going in it. So you're going to get the charts on these scales, so you can follow along. You're not going to get these scales, if you don't already know them, you're not going to get them in 5 minutes. But the secret to this blues playing is you learn these scales, but you don't want to sound like you're playing scales. That's the whole key here. Okay, you want to just use little phrases, just little 3 and 4 note phrases with some bends and some hammer-ons and stuff. You don't want to be running through scales. You want to just use little phrases, and you want to use maybe a call and response, where a chord could be a call and a lick could be a response, or vice versa. Or you can make a call and then make a response with another phrase. That's what you want to learn how to do. You got to listen to a lot of music. Okay, and going back, so the great blues guys, you got Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King. But who were they listening to? That's what you want to find out. You want to go back and try to figure out, where did they get their licks, okay? And study that and learn the phrasing. B.B. King was the master of phrasing, taking just a very few notes and turning it. He was like singing with the guitar. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make it sound like a voice. You're not trying to run through scales. Okay, so so far we've just learned the very basic stuff. Then they run all over the fretboard, these scales, okay? So how do we connect some of these scales together? Okay, I'm going to try to give you a brief idea about that. And we're going to stick in the key of A, okay? So, by the way, we're just backing up just one quick second here. When we did an A minor pentatonic scale, that one, if we put our pinky on the C note on the 8th fret, and just like we did with the A major scale, we used our pinky to start with. If we used our pinky here and went this way on the A minor pentatonic, it's a C major pentatonic. And again, you can see that C chord right there, the A-shaped C chord. That's a C major pentatonic scale. But a C major pentatonic scale and an A minor scale are the same scales. Okay, so you can play C major over C minor over A minor all day long. It's the relative minor. Okay? All right, so we don't want to get too complicated. How do we string these things together? On the chart that has the long fretboard on it, you're going to see I made a lot of little shapes, like little triangle shapes or little rectangle shapes or little house shapes, okay? So that's going to be triangles, rectangles, and the house of blues. Okay, let's string some of these shapes together. Let's do a minor pentatonic shape first, A minor. So I'm thinking of an A minor chord. I'm thinking of an A minor chord here with these bottom 3 strings on the 5th fret from this A minor. I'm thinking of a D minor shaped A minor, and then I'm thinking of an A minor again up here. So if you'll see, you'll have a chart for this. You see we start with a triangle rectangle down here out of this A minor shape. That is a full A minor pentatonic scale just in those 5 notes. And then that takes me to the 5th fret, which puts me, if I put my index finger there, it puts me back into this shape. And then if I come up here, if I slide up here to this D minor shaped A minor, it gives me a little house of blues. There's an A note right there. If I come all the way up to the C note, I'm back in this A minor shape, which gives me that same triangle rectangle shape right there. There's many ways to move that scale up and down, but that's one of the ones I'm thinking. I'm thinking triangles and rectangles. I'm thinking house of blues and back to triangles, rectangles, plus the shapes that we just learned. Okay? So now if we want to do an A major pentatonic scale and bring it up, remember we're thinking of this A here. We're thinking of this A here, the full A. We're thinking of an A here, and then we're thinking of the A up here again. Okay, so in the A major, we're starting with this A shape here. So we're doing our major pentatonic scale that we learned right here with our pinky on the 5th fret and thinking about this A chord here. Then when we get up here, there is the second part of the A major pentatonic is right here. It's a little house of blues shape right here you'll see on your chart. And that's because now you've got a major third there instead of the minor third that you'd have in a minor pentatonic. So now we have a major third. And then we can come up to this position. And we get a triangle. Now we're on the 10th fret A note. And we have the triangle, rectangle. And that puts us back into the pentatonic shape that we learned back with the pinky on the 5th fret. Now we've got it on the 17th fret. Whoop. Okay, so like I said, there's many ways to move up and down the fretboard, but that's just one quick way that I find. So just real quick, if your triangle rectangle shape, if the root is on the G string, like this A here, that's going to be a minor pentatonic. If your root is on the B string, like this A here, that's going to be a major pentatonic shape. Okay? So we've got part 2 coming up here pretty soon, and we're going to do a 12-bar blues. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Part 2 of the video is ready to go. Just click the link below. It's breakout session number 34. We're going to talk about the 12-bar blues progression. See you in the next video.